Okay, which choice best describes the overall structure of the text? I'm always reading the question first to see what it is. So this is, again, a function purpose question, but it's for the whole paragraph, a broader kind of purpose. Let's go ahead and read. It is unclear to what extent human activities influence carbon and nitrogen levels in soil. Primo Lombardi and colleagues hypothesized that differences in land use lead to differences in carbon and nitrogen levels that are not restricted to the topsoil layer, 0 to 30 centimeters deep. So they sample soils across various land type locations and depths throughout Italy. They indeed found, it seems like they confirmed their hypothesis, which is that there would be differences at different depths. They found that across locations and land types, carbon and nitrogen failed to remain at comparably low levels beyond depths of 30 centimeters. Okay, failed to remain, that's kind of like a double negative. That is, it actually changed from the comparably low levels. So yeah, this is confirmation. So the purpose of this is to present a conclusion that was in line with their hypothesis. Notice the answers, haven't read them yet, but they're generally more abstract in language for function or purpose questions. So A, it describes a situation that scientists do not fully understand. It is unclear to what extent human, okay, so yeah, that's true. Explains a research team's hypothesis about that phenomena. Yes, they have a hypothesis that the levels will change with depth. And then describes a finding that led the team to posit a new hypothesis. No, this last part's wrong. It confirmed their hypothesis, the results. B, it introduces an unresolved scientific question. Okay, that's basically the same thing. Presents a research team's hypothesis, yes, pertaining to that question, and then describes an observation made by the team that conflicts with that hypothesis. Again, it's not conflicting. They didn't make a new hypothesis. It wasn't against they confirmed their hypothesis. It raises an unresolved question, introduces a research team's hypothesis related to that question. Okay, so far, again, similar and correct. And then describes an observation made by the team that is consistent with that hypothesis. Yes, it confirms the hypothesis. That's going to be our answer. Let's quick check D. It explains a hypothesis that has been the subject of scientific debate. No. There's no hypothesis that's part of a debate. That's not right there. Okay. Discusses how a team tested it. No, it kind of says they tested it. It doesn't really say how. So yeah, D is not right. C is the correct answer. Okay, according to the text, what do some historians suggest about Maya civilization? So according to the text, based on the text, this is an explicit detail. It's a central idea, but we want a more focused idea that what does this text suggest or say historians would suggest about the Maya civilization. So let's keep that in mind as we read. Before 500 BC, the world lacked a symbol to represent 0. The first known instance of 0 was recorded in the ancient writing system used by the Maya kingdoms of southern Mexico and Central America. In fact, the use of 0 in Mexico and Central America may be even more ancient. Okay, so the Mayans first discovered it a long time ago, over 2,000 years ago, but they may not have been the first. Somebody else did it beforehand. That's what I get so far. Some historians believe that Maya mathematicians inherited it from the earliest known Mesoamerican society, the Olmecs, who flourished in the Gulf region 24 to 3,600 years, so maybe up to several hundred or a millennia earlier even. This other group, the Olmecs. So that's the detail. That's what they would say. Historians would suggest about the Maya civilization. They weren't the first. Maya civilization, like the Olmecs, flourished with the advent of mathematics. Now, we don't really know. I mean, they probably did flourish. That seems plausible, but it's not evidence in the text. This paragraph does not talk about the greatness of the Maya kingdom. B, Maya civilization's respect for mathematics contributed to early discoveries in astronomy. Well, yeah, I know they did have, some level of astronomy, but again, that's not covered at all in the text. That's not in passage. Maya civilization developed its number system based on Olmec numerology. Well, it seems they did base it on the Olmecs. And hold on, we don't know the whole number system. We're just talking about zero, the symbol zero. That's the subject of this text. It's not a whole number system. And by the way, numerology, isn't that kind of like, tarot cards and stuff like that? I don't think numerology actually means number system. I think C is wrong. D, Maya civilization acquired an unusual writing symbol. Yeah, zero, right? Nobody else had zero before them. Well, the Olmecs, from the Olmecs, nobody had zero before the Olmecs. They were the first. That makes it unusual. That's it. So again, notice that the correct answer is a little abstract, but that is the right idea. Okay, first I'm going to read the question, which describes the overall structure of the text. So again, this is a function question on the whole paragraph. Let's read and see what's going on. There are more taxis per capita in the small city of Jalapa, Veracruz than in New York City. However, simply reproducing a feature of the city's transit system, example, its low fares, is unlikely to induce a significant change in another city's transit system, according to Eric Guerra and colleagues who claim transportation mode choice in urban areas of Mexico is the product of a complex mix of factors. Okay, so here's our kind of claim that the transportation is a mix of complex factors, including population density, the spatial distribution of jobs, and demographic characteristics of individuals. So it's more complicated than just, hey, introduce cheap taxis and they'll become popular. I think that's it. Although the example shows that taxis are popular outside of New York City and elsewhere. Systems features do affect ridership, of course, but there is an irreducibly contextual dimension of transportation mode choice. Sounds like a complicated way to say it really depends on specific factors of the city. That said, the use of affordable taxis in Mexico City and various urban areas appear to be prevalent regardless of location. So wait a second, this line says, okay, despite this claim that each city has its own unique characteristics and that can't easily be reproduced, the last sentence says that affordable taxis are everywhere in Mexico. Mexico City, other urban areas. That kind of goes against the main claim here. So what's the function of the overall structure? To kind of contest the main claim, I think, or show examples that go against the main claim. Let's read. Answers. It presents an observation and highlights a claim about transportation mode choice in urban areas of Mexico. Okay, that's true. It does say urban areas of Mexico that may not be supported by the evidence. Yeah, the last sentence suggests there may not be supported, right? There are affordable taxes everywhere, which is not really a contextual dimension to transportation. A might be our answer. Let's check the others. B, it explains why it is challenging to influence methods of transportation solely by altering characteristics of a transit system. Well, the claim says you can't do it. So, but it doesn't really say, well, it does kind of say why it's challenging, right? Spatial distribution, demographics of individuals. So that's why it's challenging to influence methods of transportation by altering. But that's not the main idea here. I think the main function of this text is to show that that hypothesis or claim is not quite right. So I don't think it's about explaining the challenge. C, it illustrates the claim that a characteristic associated with transportation in Mexico City is not associated with ridership elsewhere. Characteristic in Mexico City, no, that's not it. The characteristic is elsewhere and it was associated with Mexico City. So I don't think that's the right connection. D, it substantiates the assertion that population density, the spatial distribution of jobs, and demographic characteristics are important factors in transportation mode choice. No, that's part of the claim, right? But the last sentence subverts that claim. So I think the function here, the passage, is that it's not supported by evidence. A is the correct answer.